Good afternoon everybody, and welcome to Rhyme of the Times for the week ending 25th of March 2023. Ofsted is kicked, but its boxes are ticked. Russia's sick prick isn't nicked. The public is sick of a Met with a culture as toxic as arsenic. Harriet uses pics to help her unpick Boris's chaotic COVID antics. But he sticks to his story and won't be licked or take any stick. It's just politics. As suspected, Trump was not arrested this week. Attention was all he was attempting to seek. Don't get me wrong, there's little doubt. Many think Trump should be jailed and not let out. But when it comes to felons acting presidential, there are others with much better credentials. Putin may be a president in his warped mind, but most of us relate him just to his crimes. The ICC now has a warrant to arrest him. Perhaps he's trying to show it hasn't stressed him. In an act of bravado, the evil little troll came to see his handiwork in Mariupol. How proud he must have been with the mess he saw, infrastructure and families shaken to their core. Mariupol is, of course, a city in Ukraine, foreign soil to Putin, so he should have been detained. But he wasn't, so it seems pretty fair to claim right now it's an arrest warrant only in name. The feared banking crisis was a ripple, not a wave. But on Monday, Credit Suisse still had to be saved. The bank was taken over by Swiss rival UBS. Central banks everywhere moved to stop more bank stress. Ofsted inspectors took a right kicking this week, and in their defence very few would speak. In fact, the teaching profession was up in arms, wanting inspections paused to stop further harm. A brutal regime that seems to not understand. Many critics now reckon it has blood on its hands. The blood of Ruth Perry, who in January died. A dire Ofsted judgment pushed her to suicide. The head teacher had a job and a school that she loved, but the Ofsted pen pushers deemed it not good enough. With a cross in a box and a flourish of a pen, Ruth's life's work and endeavour were all but condemned. Before Ofsted made its bow in 1993, school standards were a complete lottery. There's no doubt regulation was very much needed, but this jackboot approach has only succeeded in raising long-term illness and lost teacher days, sinking staff rooms into a morale-sapping malaise. Head teachers and teachers from the carnage have fled after a visit from the dreaded geeks from Ofsted. Some, though, think this intolerable pressure is worth the reward of getting a good measure. They say an Ofsted report's a reliable tool for helping parents to choose the right school. So for ministers with their box-ticking obsession, it's as you were for the teaching profession. Let's hope another head doesn't die on the altar of a government refusing to have Ofsted altered. On Tuesday, for politicos, it was kind of thrilling as former PM suffered a notable grilling. The latest instalment of the Partygate inquiry provided more drama for the Boris Johnson diary. Harriet chaired a committee of MPs to interrogate Johnson and put him at unease. The committee used all means to get the lowdown, Mean and low down is how Boris saw this showdown. He tried to not roll his eyes and mutter, "Oh God," as he viewed his tormentors like a firing squad. For once his fate was not quite his to choose, but in the hands of a court with 7 kangaroos. But with extensive preparation from his legal guise, for the most part his true feelings he kept disguised. By the end of 3 hours and 20 minutes it seemed both sides had reached their limit. Generally it was agreed by almost everyone that Johnson never revealed the required smoking gun. He admitted he'd misled Parliament as a fact, but it wasn't a deliberate or reckless act. It's hard to pin a guy down, no matter how you try, if he says he's not lying when he says he didn't lie. But the court of public opinion was unmoved, and Boris's popularity hasn't improved. The Tories on the panel were perhaps the most rough, to show no bias or because they've sincerely had enough. While Boris was being grilled, Rishi was feeling fine as rebels against his Brexit numbered just 29. Opposition had been increasing in the debate on Sunak's proposal to solve the island stalemate. But when it came to the final vote being cast, the Windsor framework was comfortably passed. With this vote going on and Boris's star turn, it was a good time to bury a personal tax return. This was probably the Prime Minister's intent, as his effective tax rate was revealed as 22%. But even his opponents found no reason to suggest anything fishy about Rishi's tax being suppressed. Sir Mark Rowley said he would change the Met's face, and the vetting of all officers continues apace. Basic standards of decency will be met in the Met, and no more bad apples will slip through the net. No more perverting the course of justice by employing perverts in a force that disgusts us. These vows from the Met Commissioner were recent after exposure of major Met malfeasance. Tuesday's report by Baroness Casey left no doubt the Met is full of racist, misogynist louts. And there is self-perpetuation when recruiting to the organisation. The force attracts the wrong people through the door, then, like maggots, they feed off a rotten hard core. Good coppers and the public can't take much more.